Hello, this is Cathy Cassidy and I've come to read you chapter 15 from my book Sunday Girl, and at the top of the chapter today we have a picture of an aeroplane. So let's see what that might mean for the story. I hope you're all settled down and have something, maybe a nice hot chocolate to drink. Here we go, our little 15-minute piece of escapism in your wintry lockdown life. I wake up early in a cold sweat after a vivid nightmare in which Mr. McGrath, Father Lynch and Miss Devlin, with glowing lime green hair, chase me off school property, pelting me with bottles of ginger beer, jammy dodgers and snowballs that turn out to be gobbets of hair dye. Nice. I shower quickly and get dressed, making sure my shirt is crisply ironed, my sweater clean, my tie straight. I spend a few minutes polishing my boots to a high shine, on the off chance that perfect school uniform will shield me from the fallout that Miss Devlin's hair disaster is bound to create. By the time I hear the creak of the stairs, the table is laid for breakfast and I've poured tea for Gran and Grandad. "That's grand, pet," Grandad says, huddling in his dressing gown and warming his hands above the toaster. "You're such a good girl, Jude." Gran wanders into the kitchen in tartan slippers and an ankle-length nightdress. Her blue eyes are pale and watery from sleep. She flops into a chair, picking up a bundle of knitting from the fruit bowl. "No sign of your mum yet, then?" Grandad sighs, dishing out bowls of cornflakes. "I didn't hear her come in, so it must have been really late. What does she find to do till all hours of the night?" "Drink," I say coldly. "That's what she does, even though she knows what it does to her. It's pathetic." Now, Jude," Grandad says. "It's an illness, you know. She can't help it." "Can't she?" I ask. "I bet she could help it if she tried. She just doesn't want to. She'd choose whiskey over us any day, Grandad. You know she would. She doesn't care how much she hurts us." "Who's hurt?" Gran asks, clutching her knitting. "What's wrong?" "Nothing's wrong, Molly," Grandad says softly, putting an arm round her. "Eat up your cornflakes now. Jude didn't mean anything." "No, of course not," I whisper. "It's okay, Gran." But Gran is standing now, clutching the mess of yarn to her, eyes wild. "Something's wrong," she cries. "Where's my rose? What's happened to my rose?" Grandad rolls his eyes, coaxes Gran back onto her chair. "Nothing's happened to Rose," he says patiently. "She's upstairs, asleep in bed. Jude's just going to take her a nice cup of coffee." "I don't want," I begin, but Grandad gives me a stern look. "She didn't mean those things she said yesterday," he tells me. "She won't even remember them, Jude. It was the drink talking. Take her a coffee and clear the air." "She dyed Miss Devlin's hair green," I say. "I'll never forgive her." "Jude!" So I shrug and huff and spoon instant coffee into Mum's drama queen mug. I hesitate outside her door and knock, but there's no reply, so I push the door open. I expect to see a messy, darkened room stinking of whiskey and fags. A rumpled duvet, Mum asleep with a ginger beer bottle in her arms. Instead, the curtains are wide open and the dull February light filters in. I can see right away she's not there. The duvet is neat and tidy, the pillow plumped. It's like nobody slept there at all. My heart starts to race. I look around for Mum's pink leather jacket with the stained cuff, her red stilettos, her handbag. They're missing. She hasn't been home. "Grandad!" I roar. "Grandad, quick!" He thunders up the stairs, puffs into the doorway behind me. "Ah, no," he says. "Where is she?" "She's been out all night," I say, my voice shaking. "She could be anywhere. Anything could have happened." Images of dark alleys, sleazy pubs and strangers crowd into my head, and I push them away again. No, Grandad blusters. "There's no need to worry. She'll be at Sue's or Giovanni's or one of her new friends' places. Perhaps she couldn't get a taxi." "But she always comes home." I say shakily. Always. Of course she does, Grandad frowns. Of course, but perhaps she had just a little bit too much to drink and forgot the time, lost her keys, spent her taxi money. I blink back tears, thinking of Mum lost and alone in the middle of the night. What if she's had an accident? Or made herself really, really ill like last time, when it took an ambulance, a bunch of doctors and a long stay in hospital to put things right. Don't be upsetting yourself, Jude, Grandad says firmly. It's nothing to worry about, I'm sure. You go on to school and leave this to me. I'll do some ringing round. By the time you get home, your mum will be back, safe and sound, you'll see. Promise? I ask the way I used to when I was little, and I thought that Grandad could do anything. Promise, he says. He stretches out a hand to ruffle my hair. It will be all right. Go on to school, Jude, and don't worry. I clatter down the stairs, grab my rucksack, blow Gran a kiss. Her knitting yarn is trailing through the dregs of milk and cornflakes on the table, but I pretend not to notice. She looks at me, faintly puzzled, and I know she's struggling to remember who I am. I had a daughter once, she tells me. That's right, I agree, tucking a strand of grey hair behind her ear. I had a mum once, too. Miss Devlin stalks through the school in her usual no-nonsense manner with an armful of books and a long crinkly scarf trailing behind her. She looks amazing. The straggly mouse-grey layers have gone, replaced by an ash-blonde bob with golden streaks. She's ditched her usual dark trouser suit for a cute flowery skirt and a pale blue fluffy jumper. Fluffy? Miss Devlin? Mr. McGrath stops in his tracks and does a double take as she sweeps past. Then he sees me staring and goes slightly pink. In registration, there's a similar reaction. The kids look once, look again, then gawp openly. Like the hair, miss, Brendan Coyle says, eyes wide. Thank you, Brendan. It's too young for her, Christina Kowalski whispers nastily, but Miss Devlin doesn't seem to hear. She just smiles to herself and raises one eyebrow, and Brendan tells Christina to shut up. Well, at least Miss Devlin isn't mad at me. Nobody has pelted me with ginger beer bottles, jammy dodgers, or hair dye bombs. Nothing's been said about detentions or lines. I've not been summoned to see Mr. McGrath to be expelled or Father Lynch to confess all my sins. Not yet. Just when I think I've got away with it, Miss Devlin collars me as we trail out of the classroom, ready for our first lesson. Can I see you for a minute, Jude? She asks. I don't want to be late for history, I bluster. I won't keep you long. It's just, well, I thought we should have a little chat. My heart sinks. Miss? Jude, she says kindly, is everything all right at home? A blush seeps up from my neck, staining my face with pink. I can't meet her eye. Miss Devlin is brisk, businesslike, and strict. I don't think I can cope with kindness, not from her. Everything's fine, miss, I lie. Oh, well, that's good, but if there were any problems, if you ever needed to talk... My gaze slides past Miss Devlin. I'm looking out of the window, off into the distance where a plane is slicing its way through the vast blue sky, trailing a long streak of feathery white behind it. I wish I was on that plane, leaving my troubles behind. Of course, knowing my luck, I'd be sandwiched in between Gran and Grandad with Mum across the aisle, glugging down the duty-free. No problems, miss, I say, honestly. Well, if you do need to talk, Miss Devlin says, you know where to find me. It'll all work out in time, Jude, I'm sure. I bolt out of there like my tail's on fire. It'll all work out in time? Yeah, sure. My mum could be curled up in an alleyway, mugged, bleeding. She could be stuck in casualty with a broken ankle, trying to remember her name and address. She could be waking up in some seedy flat with a stranger, rubbing her head and reaching for the next drink. It's not going to work out, not any time soon. and Miss Devlin is going to be shooting me sad-eyed looks of pity probably for the rest of my school career. Great. I slope along to history and slip into a seat beside Nuala. Mr. Jackson's voice drones on endlessly, something about Henry VIII and his 6 wives. I'm not taking anything in, not even when Carter writes Amber Lynn up on the whiteboard instead of Anne Boleyn, and the class dissolves into giggles. What? Carter demands, baffled. It is Amber Lynn, isn't it? What's funny? This is a history lesson, not a soap opera, Mr. Jackson huffs. Write me 2 sides of A4 on Anne Boleyn for homework, Carter. Are you feeling all right, Jude Riley? You look very pale. I don't know, I say. A whole wave of shudders washes over my body. Even my fingers are shaking. She's shivering, sir, Nuala says anxiously. Oh dear. Take her along to the office. I hide behind my hair and let Nuala lead me from the room. So a very dramatic chapter so far. And that was chapter 15 of Sunday Girl. I hope you will tune in on Sunday to listen to Sunday Book Club with lots of shout outs and recommendations and talk of inspirations. And please do keep yourself safe over the weekend. Do something kind and lovely for somebody else, because that, I guarantee it, will cheer you up as well. And I'll see you on Monday for more of Sunday Girl. Take care. I'll see you soon.